Hello and welcome back. But it's getting there. You join me in the middle of knitting Paris Toujours shawl, which was a knit along that I did with the Fibre Hustle boys, Aaron and Chip, and Aaron set up a knit along, dare I say it, January to finish for February, and where are we now? April, mid-April, but it's getting there. I foolishly chose 4-ply. I have this thing with 4-ply, kind of like a love-hate relationship with it, and I think many people do. I absolutely love it and love the idea of the wool, but when it comes to actually knitting with it, you're like, oh, it's taking so long. I've been doing a few rows a day, or trying to do a few rows a day, because I'm doing it on a cable, so you can't really see. I'll show you again once I've done a full row. But because it's getting longer and longer and longer, obviously one row takes a very long time. So it's another gloriously sunny day here on week 4 of staying at home. Come along with a run with me. There we are. So I've just run all that, and then this is my halfway point where I rest at the church gate and catch my breath. It's just fabulous. So I'm now going to go for a run down there, and then we'll meet up again. Come on, keep up. You know, there is something quintessentially British about the cowslip. Absolutely love it. It just makes spring, along with daffodils and primroses. But there is something I think even more special about the cowslip. It just reminds you of those days when you were younger and you would go out and play in the fields and the ditches in the forest, and you would always see those. They're protected here, so no picking them. Look. So, duck eggs as dippy eggs with soldiers. Right, let's get running back. And you've got to have it runny. Do you have yours runny so you can dip your shoulders in? Or are you a hard-boiled person? See you on the other side. And that's the row done. I was busy whilst you were watching me run around the countryside, so there we are. So there. I'm no shawl person, but just to try and put it into some perspective. I mean, I think I've got let's get up. I have only just nearly used one hank, as I say, and that had 400. Oh, that's gone miles away now. 440 meters. So I reckon another half will do. But that's the Woad, isn't it? Great. Talking about Woad, let's go and have a look at how my seedlings are doing. Have you been pottering out in the garden this week? Since we last met, I have, and it's getting exciting now because the blossom is coming out. Now, one of the positives that's come out of this current challenging time is the use of technology. And you will have seen it everywhere, certainly on Instagram, people Zooming or house partying or teaming. There are so many apps and programs that you can use to communicate virtually with people. I've met up with the ladies, my Knit and Natter ladies, on Wednesday and on Friday through House Party on the phone. And also we've done Zoom with the rest of the Woolpatch team. Áine and Jen, we've had a little Zoom. Speaking of Zoom, who do I have ready on the other side? Let's go and speak to her. Hello! It's on
Hello.
camera. I was just saying on camera how we've embraced the technology to meet up with everyone still and keep spirits high.
Yeah, in fact, I just had a play date this morning with Jen, so we've been catching up on hangouts and painting and stuff. It's quite fun.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
So what? Just leaving because I was just explaining how Zoom can be used. So were you just literally leaving it on and just crafting and not worrying having to engage in the screen?
So yeah, we used Google Hangouts. That's another one that you can try as well. So we use Google Hangouts, and again, sent her an email, sent her an invite, and we just left it on while we chatted a wee bit. And we didn't chat loads. It was just nice to be able to see her face and have that company. So
yes, it's like they're in the room, because when you would be in the room making and crafting, you wouldn't be looking at them anyway and talking all the time anyway, would you?
No, not at all. And it's just quite nice. Every now and then we're just bumbling around making noises and humming to ourselves, and we often joined in with each other, both humming away. So it's just nice. It's nice just having that company and having somebody else there. So it's really good. Very excited. I cannot tell you. I am so excited. I cannot wait for it to start. I have myself. I'm ready. I've got my notebook ready so I can make notes. And I've decided, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to, but I've decided this year I'm actually going to make something while the sewing bee is going on. So Jen kindly donated loads of jersey that she had because I wanted to try playing with some jersey. And she was like, I have loads of jersey. Here you go. So give me jersey. And I have this book, and there's a t-shirt in there because I know you started with a t-shirt, so I will start with a t-shirt. So there's a t-shirt in here that I'm going to try making with my jersey. So I'm going to try and make something while the sewing bee is on. I've decided make myself a project.
And we are going to be doing our little sewing bee review chats, but on here via Zoom instead, so we're not letting this get us down, are we?
No, I'm really looking forward to it because I so enjoyed the chats last year and chatting about what everybody's making. That's half of the fun, I think, of the sewing bee.
Oh, indeed. And I know Tim was saying that anyway, when you go back into work the next day, it's one of those programs you have to watch live and join in with the conversation the next day. Yeah. And those people that, don't talk about it because they've got it recorded, you feel like saying, get with it, watch it live and join in the conversation.
Yes, yeah. And I cannot wait I'm so excited because it feels like it's taken ages for it to come back on, a big confirm that it was happening again. So, and I know they've already started to gather participants for next year. So hopefully it'll mean it's going to keep on going. Yeah.
So we'll let everyone know about we'll record them and we'll release them. And if you subscribe and follow us, you'll get a notification when it's up. So that will be great fun. Brilliant. So what have you been making now? I want to see this quilt. Have you got the quilt there?
I do. So this is something I prepared earlier. It's too big. It would just completely swallow me. If you follow me on Instagram, you see I have finished my quilt top. So I still have to get the border.
Yeah.
Get the border. I've got my wadding and then get a back for it. But yes, so this is finally done. Hours and hours and hours and hours, and that took.
Oh, it is. But was the process enjoyable? I mean, you weren't knocking it out because you had a rush. You were just sewing when you wanted to.
Yes. The only bit for me that was a bit of a pain was the cutting, because I had like fat quarters and half meters and things. Cutting the triangle or cutting the squares to start was a wee bit of a pain in the bum. But once I got started and got the sewing started, it seemed to zoom by, because once you got the general pattern, the picking out of the pattern, I had to have multiple discussions with people where I tried out all the different squares. That seemed to be one of the big time sucks. But once you got sewing, it sewed up pretty quickly, because I did. So if I just look at
in rows.
Yeah, I did. So you've got 4 small squares. I put them together, and then I have my big squares, and then I did rows, and then I stitched all my rows together. So it took a while, but I'm so pleased. It's not perfect, far from it, but it makes me very happy.
Indeed. Well, and that's why we craft in the end, isn't it? Because it makes us happy, and it's the process of it all. It's creativity, that's what it's all about, isn't it? And especially at this time, takes your mind off the news and what's going on.
Massively. I've noticed as well, I think because I had more time, not necessarily during the day, because I'm still working and I'm actually busier with work than normal, but on the weekends and things, I've actually regained some of my time, and I'm doing lots of sewing and painting and sticking and knitting. I see you shared a picture of my first sock finished.
Yes. Yeah, that was a feature in the gallery. Worked well, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm so pleased. The second one isn't too far. I've already turned my heel, and I'm now doing the last bit.
Brilliant.
So, yeah.
Yes.
I'm really enjoying it. I've been doing loads of gardening, and it's fantastic. I go out in the garden, I get so excited now when I see flowers coming up. I've got lilies and tulips, and it's fabulous. I love it.
Oh, yes. And my Woad, look.
Oh no, how's it coming in? Oh, look. Exciting. So is that almost ready then for making, or do you have to wait a bit longer?
No. So what I will, they'll keep growing, and then I'll have to transplant them or thin them out, they call it, so they can have their own tub each. God, the weather is phenomenal, isn't it?
It's just unreal. It's just stunning. And I thank myself. I thank everything, because we actually have a garden.
Yeah.
So very, very fortunate, very, very lucky that we have a garden and we have that space. But it's just glorious, absolutely glorious. In fact, when I get off this call with you, I'm going to go for a nice big walk to some woods and enjoy a nice walk in the countryside for my hour exercise before I come home, because it's such a beautiful day. I have to get outside and get my fresh air.
So you're just going to be doing that for the next couple of weeks then? Because we reckon another 3 weeks maybe in lockdown before it might be eased.
Yeah, well, I think, I'm just going to keep doing, I'm going to keep on with my crafting, and I'm going to try my first t-shirt and finish my socks, and just try to keep seeing.
Yeah, indeed. Well, and we'll keep chatting as well. We'll keep sort of checking in with each other, and obviously with the sewing bee stuff.
I'm so excited. It's one of those things, I'm just so excited. I cannot wait.
Oh, it's been great. Well, it's been great catching up with you.
Yes.
Where's your little cat? Is Nana around at all?
I'm sorry, she was here earlier just before we started, but then she decided she had to go back outside and get some fresh air. Yes, thank you. And thank you for reaching out, and I'll see you soon.
You're welcome. See you later. Bye.
That was really, really nice. Right, let's take a look in the gallery now at what you've been making. work there. You continue to amaze me on what you produce and also how quick you produce it. Speaking of creativity and crafts, the Sewing Bee is back. Woohoo! Yes, in the UK next week, though you might have already seen it by the time this vlog goes out, but there we are. Every Wednesday for the next 10 weeks, the Sewing Bee Series 6. It's going to be really good to watch that in the evenings and to be able to chat about it. And we'll still carry on our chats too. We'll be recording special Sewing Bee chats over the next 10 weeks. It's lovely to be able to talk about who your favourites are and what they've made. And it will be nice to see who they will be this year for Series 6. So let's have a Baabara felting update. I have now done the top part of Baabara. So that's her top part done. So all I've got then to do, so you can see what I've got left to felt. I've got all this still to felt, but it's not bad, hey? Looking quite good, very pleased with it, and I'm now getting to the point where I can overlap. So I had these done first and now I've done this one over the top of those, so I've got a bit more depth to it, a bit more sort of textured 3D. So really pleased with that, and I haven't been coughing either, so that's good. So, and this is what I've been using. It's West Yorkshire Spinners. It's their chunky yarn called Retreat, which is a roving yarn, and it's perfect for felting. So if you did want to start a felting project, then that would be a great one. Obviously you can buy proper wool, roving wool, that it's like that. It's not, I mean, this is spun into a yarn because I suppose it's really meant for knitting, but you can still felt with it. It is great. So really pleased with that. Now, the ever observant of you will have noticed put it on. Let's see what it looks like. Right, let's just